You better ask somebody.
Everyone just loves New Mexico to upset number 6.
Have the potential to go at least one more round. Deron Holmes, Shahade Wells, and Enrique Freeman, 3 players you have to know about. Yes, we are back. The Saturday morning staple of college basketball on the landscape. Mike Randle here with you, FTN Fantasy. At the bottom of the screen, you have to join us, FTN Fantasy. Look, it is February 8th. You get it. You see what's going on. We are headed to March. Our March Madness video, written content, how to break down the brackets, sleepers, teams that could make a run, best values. Everything is what you want to get, and you have to join us here at FTN Fantasy. Use the promo code early15, get you 15% off. Go to the site, ftnfantasy.com, click pricing, pick a plan, jump in, join us. Discord buttons at the top. That's where all the plays are right now. Frank Brank has been there already. Ryan Coleman, Gus Kearns, Walt Waddell. Of course, all of our people are in there. Walt was in there all night long giving you updates here about players who could be hurt. We are ready to go. We're going to have a day. I can feel it. I can feel it. We're going to have a day up over 50 units on college basketball sides. Ready to go. Let's get into it. As always, let's see who's here in the comments. How about them Johnnies, Al? How about them Johnnies? I'm telling you, I told you, if you've been here, and Al, I know you have been, I told you they're going to win the Big East this year. I told you that. Beginning of the season, this is the team. Rick Pitino, second year, absolutely magical. Ben, great to see you. So many good. And Tommy, the dogs are barking. Say it with me. The dogs are barking today. Can't wait to get going. I appreciate, hot Niall. We're doing well. And listen, the only way you can get to the point that we are all at together, and it's collectively as a group, because we do this together, is by being there throughout the season and seeing the peaks and valleys. And certainly, Niall, you had been there as well. Dream, do you ever sleep, man? Do you ever sleep? I just need to know that. Okay. Dad, Dad, if you're not here, Dan, are you in trouble today against Pittsburgh? I need to know that, Dan. I need to know. I'm curious. JR, Norse, this is great. Norseman over Bosco today. Very funny. Who is JR? I got to figure this out. Norseman over Bosco today. That's Demarest. It could be. Demarest is very hot right now. And yes, I was the 6-man, last starter, 6-man, 3-and-D guy on Leonia. We went to the county semifinals, and we blew a 12-point lead with 3 minutes left. Unbelievable. It still kills me. Scott Cross covers today. I agree now. We'll get into it. Here we go. Here are the batters. Remember, we go in reverse order of confidence here. So we're starting with the plays that we have, and I cover as many games as possible because you are all over the country right now, all over the world, in fact, and I want to make sure I hit the games that you're interested in. Texas Tech is extremely hot. The problem with this is JT Toppin. That's the problem. JT Toppin left the Baylor game, their second leading scorer, with a foot injury. I don't know his status. I don't know how he's going to do today. That is what's making me nervous on this game. So it is a low confidence play. Arizona's home. It's 10:30 at night. So I think it's 7:30 their time because they're right on the timeline there. I'm going to take Texas Tech, but this is a very, very low confidence play because we don't know the status of Toppin. They played back in Texas Tech on January 18th. Red Raiders beat him 70-54. Toppin at 20.16 rebounds. So his status is critical. Could be a bounce back spot. It's only 2.5, but Texas Tech has beat Baylor. They beat Houston away when Toppin was kicked out 4 minutes into the game with Coach Grant McCaslin. They are looking really good. So I'm going to roll with Texas Tech. Very low play here. Least confident because I don't know Toppin's status. If I knew Toppin's status, I'd take Texas Tech. It probably wouldn't be 2.5 either. This is a desperation spot for Oklahoma. Tennessee has looked really good, but on the road, they can have issues. At Florida, blown out. At Vanderbilt, lost by 1. At Auburn, played super well. That was a tough game, lost by 2. So, yes, they drilled Florida at home. Yes, they drilled Missouri. Here's the problem. They're on the road against Oklahoma. Porter Moser is a really good coach. Usually doesn't get blown out. And who do they have coming up? They have another battle with Kentucky away, who beat them at home 78-73. So this is a look-ahead spot for Tuesday. It's a sandwich spot between the Missouri game, which was very tough. Tennessee's really good. Ziegler looks great. I love Rick Barnes. I think he's so underappreciated. All of this stuff is true, but 5.5 is a magic number. Porter Moser is a really good coach. The one issue is that Jeremiah Fears, the dynamic freshman, may not play If he doesn't play, I don't know what I'm going to do with this game. That's why I put it at the beginning. Again, these are the lower confidence plays. As we go through, we'll get to the higher confidence. On Oklahoma for a small amount against Tennessee. If Fears plays, I'll feel great. But if Fears is out, and this game's at noon, so you got to pay attention, we'll see what happens. It's a rivalry game. It's Fairfield, Sacred Heart. It's a rivalry game. Sacred Heart stinks. I've been fading them all year, and it's been very profitable. I don't think Anthony Latino does a good job. I know they've won 4 games in a row. Canisius away, Niagara, Manhattan, Ryder. I mean, fine if that does anything for you. But this is a rivalry game, and it's on the road at Fairfield. Fairfield's coming off a nice home win over Marist, so they have some mojo herself. Both of these teams don't like each other. It's going to be as intense as it can get between two schools of this size. It's on the road. I am not laying points with Sacred Heart on the road. It's really that simple. Small wager here. Not a big feeling, but taking Fairfield +2. This one I do like. So now we're getting to some more confidence play. Seton Hall stinks. They can't score. They can't score at all. And I don't know why. This line went down last night a little bit, and now it's trending back up. So you want to grab this one right away. I am on Georgetown here. Ed Cooley has done a nice job. They are battling. They haven't gotten the wins, but they've had some tough spots. They go to home against St. John. St. John's played a brilliant game from start to finish. Best game of the year. Butler home, they win by 3. Xavier away, really tough. Tuesday night at Xavier, lose by 5. They have not played. They played Seton Hall away and beat them by 1 earlier this year. So you want to say it's a revenge spot. My problem with that is Seton Hall is dead man walking. Seton Hall was 5-4 after beating NJIT. They're now 6-17. Folks, that means they are 1-13 in their last 14 games. They just got blown out at home against Butler by 30. At home on Wednesday night against Butler, they lost by 30. So you're telling me they're rallying here? This is what is the rallying cry exactly? That they lost to Georgetown at home by 1? I don't see it. Georgetown is playing very well. Mac, Sorber inside, I think is too much. I don't like laying a lot of points. You know that. I feel more comfortable with the underdogs. We've done much better with underdogs this year. Georgetown -10.5 in a blowout. Seton Hall stinks. That's the issue. 6 on the road. Florida Atlantic is good, but they're a little inconsistent on the road. You know, I have this thing for Tulsa and Eric Conkle. They have lost 3 in a row, but those games have been home to UAB, who's one of the best teams in the conference, away at Tulane by 3, and away at Memphis, no shame. Florida Atlantic, they have not played yet this year. And here are Florida Atlantic's road games. At North Texas, lose by 13. At Tulane, lose by 15. Charlotte, East Carolina, they won. They're up and down. And you know the deal with Florida Atlantic. If you don't like this, bet them live. Because if they get up big, they always give the lead back. And if they're down big, they always come back. So maybe the move here is to bet them live. I think 6 is too much with Tulsa. I think it's a better coach team. First year for John Jackas, done a nice job, but this is not the same team. On the road, they can turn it over. They're up and down. Turnovers are a problem. Tulsa at home can actually be fairly competitive. The other thing I like about Tulsa is they're solid from the 3. They're solid on defense. They don't have a lot of holes. The problem is they don't make their free throws, but they are home getting 6. I think that's a substantial play. You have to decide with this next one what you think of Kentucky. Kentucky was flying high. Kentucky was 12-2. They beat Florida at home. They're 12-2, 1-0. Now, I was fading Kentucky at the beginning of the year with Mark Pope. Mark Pope's a great coach. I just thought it was going to take a couple of years for him to get it right. Remember, he was like the 12th option for their coaching job. They're in some trouble right now, Kentucky. They have lost 4 of their last 5, but the only one was the away game at Tennessee, in which they shot the absolute lights out and were 12 of 24 from three-point range. So if they don't get saved by 3-point variance, they are on a 5-game losing streak, including away at Vanderbilt, including home to Calipari, in which they were absolutely fired up. That was a max spot effort, and they laid an absolute egg. Then they went away to Mississippi and got drilled and gave up 98 points. Now, South Carolina is a tough team to back because they're 0-9 in the conference. They've lost every single game in the SEC, but they are competing. Home to Florida, lose by 1. Away Vanderbilt, lose by 3. Mississippi State overtime loss. Away Georgia, 11, fine. Texas A&M, home 4. They are competing, South Carolina. You want to say law of efforts like my buddy Gus Kearns does. By the way, good luck to Gus's daughter. Essex County tournament today he's playing. That's fine. It's a lot of points. And there is still no Lamont Butler in this game. And what happens with these teams? is when you take away a key player, and Lamont Butler has not played the last 3 games. They've gone 1-2 in those matchups. The only game they won was Tennessee, and that's because they shut the lights out and Ziegler got hurt. Fine. What you see is you take away a player from a team that is not overly deep, and Kentucky is not overly deep, they're going to struggle. Kentucky is the worst team in the SEC at defending inside the arc. They are allowing 59% from the field inside the arc. The worst. Too many points. Only way I lose this is 3-point variance. Jackson Robinson has 5 million threes. I'll take the 11.5 with a team that has no wins in the SEC. Be careful with this one. I know we're going to be all fired up about Michigan State because they've lost 2 games in a row. They're coming home. You know the deal, Michigan State. 9-0 and leading the Big Ten. But they hadn't played a team in the top part of the standings. If you look at the standings, shout out to Field of 68 who did this. Top part of the standings, they had not played anyone. They've lost 2 in a row. They have Indiana home, Illinois, Purdue. They're in the middle of a rough run. Now they got Oregon. Oregon's lost 4 games in a row, but Oregon's good. And they're well coached here by Dana Altman. So this is a classic spot. Oregon is dead man walking. They're falling off a cliff. They're terrible. They're still really well coached. And one of the few things that you can count on here in college basketball is a great coach. I'll take 8.5 with Dana Altman at Michigan State against Sparty. They don't have a lot of talent, Sparty. They play well and they play hard. And Izzo's a great coach. But so is Dana Altman. 8.5's a lot. They were gamey against Michigan. They have struggled against UCLA. I get it. They lost away at Minnesota, bottom of the barrel. They're going to be a problem here. Don't give up on Oregon yet. 8.5 is way too much. Let's get to the comments. They're flying off here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, Marcus, we're on a good run. Let's go, man. Preston, I appreciate you jumped in. You're subscribing. That's great. All the plays will be in there. You can go back and forth. Well, again, top 6 plays plus the parlay going in right after this. That's for subscribers at FTN only, not YouTube subscribers. Subscribers FTN only. Yeah, we'll talk to the Duke line, Marcus. Dog day. It is dog day. Quantitative. It's a dog day for sure. Northwestern has big over team. Do you like 138 against Washington? Probably do, Rich. I'll get to that at the end. That's a really good question. He likes Missouri. Hippo, great. And High Rollins in the house. Let's go. Here we go. Moving on. A lot of games today. Line flip-flopped. I don't like Holy Cross. I do like Boston University. We've taken Boston University a couple times, and this line is small enough that we're taking it. I liked it last night at 1.5. I woke up. It was plus. You know, they're laying 1.5. They were getting 1.5. They're playing Holy Cross. They beat Holy Cross at home by 10. Now they're going on the road to flip-flop spot. No look ahead for them. BU has sort of righted the ship here with the 3 wins. Bucknell away, overtime win. Holy Cross home win. Navy win. Loyola Maryland away was a loss. Holy Cross going the wrong direction. I think BU finds a way to get this game. Also have Colgate coming into Holy Cross later this week. So small wager there. If Iowa State is as good as I think they are, and I think they're incredible, and I still think they're going to the Final Four and possibly winning the national title, I agree. They have lost 3 straight games. Arizona OT away, which they should have won. Kansas State at home, blown out. Kansas away, blown out. I do think Momcilovic is back today. I'm hearing that he's questionable and he's back. TCU is just god-awful on offense. Absolutely awful. They're terrible at defending. They don't defend inside the arc. They beat Colorado at home and West Virginia at home. 2 nice wins. They're playing well. This is a massive number. But if Iowa State is as good as I think they are and desperate as they are, and Momcilovic is back, which I think he is, they get this game in a big way. No one has taken Iowa State here. TCU plus 15.5 seems like an awful lot. I believe in TJ Osselberger. I believe in Iowa State. Hilton Magic at home. I'm taking them here. This comes from the line that makes no sense. And every once in a while you get a line that makes 0 sense. Why is Army not favored at home? Army has been playing really well. Army made a nice run in the Patriot League. They are 7-4. They beat Colgate at home by 12. They had a 5-game winning streak. Loyola, Lehigh, Lafayette, BU, Holy Cross. Why are they not favored at home? It makes no sense. Army is 7-4. They are 1 game behind American and the Patriot. They can win the Patriot League. Well, the reason's going to be Bucknell is also on fire. John Griffin, who I like a lot, has righted the ship. He has 3 straight wins. Loyola, Navy, they beat American big at home, big. They're playing very well. They're hitting their threes. They're really doing a nice job. They are number 1 in the Patriot League in 3-point shooting. Bucknell is hot. This makes no sense. Army should not be an underdog here. That's why we're taking Bucknell. We believe in their streak. I don't think Army is quite long in the tooth. They're playing well. I don't think they're one of the top teams in the Patriot. I think they're just okay. I don't think they're great. I'm taking Bucknell here at Army. This game, where again, seeing this line raises my suspicions. I go, wait a minute, why is Bucknell favored? It makes no sense. Means that Bucknell, in my mind, is going to roll because they're playing very well. Rivalry game, take the points, half unit play. Nothing much to say here. Citadel, VMI, two military institutions. God bless everyone there. Both like to shoot the three. Both like to get up and down the court. I think it's too much in a rivalry game. I'll take Citadel. Not much there. Be careful with this one. It's bottom of the barrel. The other reason that I'm going with this game is because Wisconsin is coming up on Purdue away. Wisconsin is Purdue and Illinois coming up. So they've won 2 games. There's no Freeman. He's out for the year, which is a killer here. But these games are usually close. And Iowa has struggled. They've lost 5 of their last 6. Their last 2 games, they lost at home to Purdue. I think it's too many points. It's Wisconsin on the road, and they have the matchup coming up against Purdue and Illinois. I will take Iowa plus 5.5. Careful with this one, too. You never know at Indiana when they're home because they can shoot well. And they just said Mike Woodson's not returning next year. So there's a lot of mojo. I just think Michigan's better. I think the high-low with Danny Wolf is rough. I didn't like Michigan the beginning of the year, so there's something in the back of my head that's saying maybe I was right about Michigan because their guard play can be really weak. Be careful with this. I'll probably put this in the Discord as a half unit play. It was 2.5. It went up. They could easily lose this game. I don't like Indiana. I've hated them all year. I've faded Mike Woodson. I don't think you can win with bigs, but this is a good matchup for them because it's sort of a big-on-big team here, and the backcourt is bad for Michigan. So I am taking... Yeah, there it is. I am taking Michigan for a very small number against Indiana. They have not played Indiana this year. This is a big-on-big matchup. This one's tricky. Be careful with this. Check the Discord before you make this one a play. I'm going to look at it again when this is over. Notre Dame has not been playing well. Again, I can't – you have to give me a reason to take the favorites at this point because we think we know stuff and we don't. Virginia Tech certainly isn't good, but Notre Dame has not been winning big at all. And this is a lot of points. Notre Dame has lost to Miami away, which is catastrophic. They lost away to Florida State. Even at home against Georgia Tech, they only won by 3. They are up and down. This is a very tough spot. Virginia Tech beat Florida State, beat Virginia, lost at home to a good SMU team. They're playing better. They're well coached. I don't think Notre Dame can blow anyone out. This is a lot of points for Notre Dame at home when they lost to Miami with Burton and Shrewsbury. That's a little questionable. Queens at home. Queens at home puts points up. If you want to look for the over-under on this, is fine. I saw Frank Brank's plays on our channel, our FTN Discord, ftnfantasy.com. I'm not sure what he has on this one. Queens is rolling, and they play well at home. They beat North Alabama, who is the absolute leader in the conference here. They play them well. North Alabama and the A-Sun playing really well. They beat them. They beat West Georgia at home and hung 87. They went away to Central Arkansas. I like Central Arkansas. That game is a sleepy spot. Didn't get it. Now here comes Lipscomb. Lipscomb is the leader in the conference. They're 8-3. You're going to get a max effort from Queens here. They lost to Queens Lipscomb at home 75-73. So you can argue the flip-flop theory. My counter is going to be, I think Queens plays them tough, and I think Queens plays tough at home. I know Lipscomb's going to bring max effort today. I do like Queens. I like them at home. They shoot the 3. They get up and down the floor. They're kind of a team that's off the national radar. People don't talk about Queens a lot because they don't even realize when you're dealing – people hear Queens, it's in Charlotte, North Carolina. But this is a team that shoots well from three-point range. They're great on the defensive boards, and they've had some very, very good efforts at home this year. They beat Florida Gulf Coast and hung 92. They hung 96 on Stetson. They beat Mercer at home and hung 73. They're a quality team. I know Lipscomb's going to want this game, but Queens thinks they're very much alive in the A-Sun here. They're 8-3. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams tied atop the A-Sun at 8-3. Queens is looking to move into first place in the A-Sun with this win. This is a very close battle with Lipscomb. If Lipscomb's get it, I don't think they're getting it by 5. Yeah, I'm not taking NJIT. NJIT's not laying points on the road. I mean, I can't give you a deeper analysis than this. NJIT is at the point where they're laying points on the road. I know it's New Hampshire, but New Hampshire we've seen can shoot threes well and can do some things. I mean, I can't have NJIT favored out on the road against anyone. They just beat UMBC at home. They beat UMBC twice. They beat Binghamton at home. NJIT. They lost away at NJIT by 5. NJIT cannot be favored on the road. I mean, this just can't happen. This is like saying LeBron's greater than Jordan. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the some more comments. I love Marquette today also. Marquette against Creighton. The issue, Marcus, with Creighton is they lost Pop Isaacs and they've been great. And I'll get to this game right now. I'll move it up here. We'll talk about it right now because you brought it up. Creighton lost Pop Isaacs, and they have won 8 straight games. But some of those games have been miracle escapes. The away game at Butler, they escaped late. Connecticut away, they pulled away late. Villanova, they needed a shot from Ashworth at the end. They have been living on the edge. Now, they did lose away to Marquette, so this is a bounce back. But Marquette is lost to Connecticut and lost away at St. John's and played very well. They are desperate here. They're 9-3. They are sliding. They have to get this game. I still think Marquette's a little overvalued in the market, but I like them in this spot here against Creighton. I don't care if it's on the road. Creighton is not deep. It's Kalkbrenner, it's Neal, and it's Ashworth. I think Shaka matches up very well with them. I don't think they get dominated by Kalkbrenner, and they are not deep. Jackson McAndrews is just okay. They don't have a lot of depth. They're not going to be able to play defense. Marquette can. I think Marquette is a bad matchup for Creighton. That's why I like them as well. Yeah, TCU can't score. Marcus, if Iowa State is as good as I think they are, this is a 20-point win. It's really that simple. Coming off 3 straight losses. Absolutely. Helms, great to see you, buddy. It's a big boy slate. Jerry, good to have you back, man. Good to have you back, Jerry. Always great to see you. I don't know. Quantitative, I don't know about this. BC stinks. It's my alma mater. I have no allegiance. I get it. That's a lot. That's a lot of points for Syracuse. They haven't been good either. Helms, thought on Little Rock. Let me get to that. I don't have that game up here, to be honest. Let me check it out for you. I make notes on all the games, but sometimes I don't pick them. Little Rock against Moorhead. I have not been impressed with Moorhead. They lost to Moorhead earlier. This is a perfect bounce back spot for them. What is the number at? Put it in the chat. They're great, a Little Rock, on defense. This is not a typical Moorhead State team. Jonathan Max has taken over for the first time. This is a Little Rock spot. It's a high number. That's the only issue. It's a high number today. That's little. I could add Little Rock in the Discord. It's a good one, Helms. That's a good one. Panda, is Northern Illinois a live dog today? Northern Illinois is always a live dog. And I think they've covered for us a couple times, right? Northern Illinois covered first against Akron. Northern Illinois covered first against against Toledo. Panda, I got it wrong against Bowling. Bowling Green stinks. I can't just stress that enough. They stink. We lost that one. It was 7. What was it? 6? I think it was 6 points. And now they're playing Louisiana home. They are very live. Yeah, Ken Palm has this as Louisiana by 1. Depends on what the number is, Panda. But yeah, I like them. At home getting points. That's fine. Is Florida getting too many points today? Florida is getting too many points is what you're saying. Definitive statement there. Auburn is so good. And I was a little late to come around on Florida. It's just Auburn is really tough. Really tough. They may be good enough to cover this line. I didn't put this one in, Ben. Auburn is that good. And it's not that I don't like Florida. I do. And is Clayton fully healthy? He had the injury. Auburn's tough. And there's no look ahead spot for Auburn here. So I'm curious. I'm careful with that. Bet I do like Mississippi State in this matchup. You know my thoughts on Georgia. They have the 2-game losing streak, Alabama and Missouri. I don't think Georgia is very good. Notice that I hate Mike White because I just don't think he runs good offense. And if you look at their team, they are strong on defense, but they are shooting 27.9% from 3-point range, Georgia. That's worse than the SEC. They're 47% from inside the arc. That's 13th out of 16 teams in the SEC. And they're 69% from the free throw line. Their numbers are not good. And look at what's gone on with Mike White. Everyone was excited Mike White was 12-1. Everyone was excited they beat Kentucky at home by 13. Lost away at Tennessee, got destroyed. Lost at home by Auburn, good game, played well. Lost away at Arkansas. Lost away at Florida by 30. Beat South Carolina home by 11. I think they barely covered, if that. Alabama away, drilled. LSU home win. I like Mississippi State today. I do. I like Mississippi State in this matchup. Anytime I can fade Georgia, Mike White, I'm going to do that. It's Little Rock -2.5. Yeah, it's a good one, Marcus. I like it. Joey, you're going to Stetson with your daughter Trista. Very good. First game. Last time. Yeah, very good, Joe. Yeah, did I mention Stetson? I don't think I did. I don't even want to give you a pick, Joey, because I want you to enjoy that father-daughter time with your daughter there. Yeah, Eastern Kentucky. Yeah, no feeling. They beat Eastern Kentucky away by 1, so this could be a revenge spot. But you should have fun. It's Stetson's playing better. They're playing better. You're riding on a free roll here after last year, Joey. Just wonderful stuff. Dan, I have this one. I would put someone up later. Bounce back spot for Mason. They lost to Rhode Island away. The problem is Mason doesn't cover big spreads because they're not great on offense. They're just elite on defense. Mason is 9-1 in the A-10. They are a half game ahead of VCU, so they need to keep it going. They don't play VCU for a few games, so there's no look ahead here. But this is the only team that beat them in the A-10 was Rhode Island away. They lost that game by 3. I think it's a bounce back here. It's a lot of points, and I like Archie Miller, but they can struggle to score. I think Mason's ticked off today. That's fine. North Carolina against Pitt, maybe. No feeling there either way. UNC blowout. Did they blow anybody out, Jerry? I don't know about that. Nick likes Grand Canyon and thinks Arizona will blow. If they blow it, meaning Nick, they're going to lose because it really comes down to Toppin. That's the question. It comes down to whether JT Toppin is going to play and be at full strength. If he's not, I can't take Texas Tech, but I'm going to roll the dice that he is. You like Grand Canyon today. They've been very up and down, Nick. They've thrown me off all year, Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon should be really good. They're the favorite in the WAC. They are 7-1, but they're not covering games as easy as they normally play. Cal Baptist today. They're not covering the way they should. They go, Cal Baptist is just 4-4 in the conference. This is sort of a tricky. Grand Canyon should be destroying these teams, and they're not. They're away at Cal Baptist. Maybe I can get there. That's fine. I'm fine with that as well. Yeah, quantitative. I'm fine with that. No Owen Freeman, which hurts, but 5.5 is always that magic number. I do not, Jay. I do not because Scott Cross covers. That's the reason. I'll put that game up in a little bit. Let me get back to the so you're jumping ahead, guys. Yeah, it's Scott Cross covers, guys. Scott Cross covers. This is a non-conference matchup. So Troy, who is in the midst of a lethal Sun Belt battle with Arkansas State. Troy is 8-4. South Alabama's 8-4. JMU's 8-4. App State's 8-4. Marshall's 8-4. Arkansas State is 9-3. So there is a huge collision. They're very stacked up in the Sun Belt. This is a matchup here against Miami of Ohio. This is a non-conference game. It is a Mid-American Conference versus Sun Belt Conference matchup. So they're playing teams from the other conference. I like Scott Cross. Miami has been really good. Miami of Ohio is 1 game behind Akron. I just believe in Scott Cross. I think he's a really good game coach. They shoot a lot of threes. They're hard to prepare for. I'm going to take Scott Cross. He's been good for us all year. He's been top 10 in cover rate. I get it. I think I'm taking them here in this matchup. Miami stinks. What do you want me to tell you? You want to sit here and ride Miami covering the back door? By all means. Make it a half unit. I don't care. Which Bryant are we going to get? One of the most shocking results we had was Bryant, who was absolutely rolling in the America East and was a perfect 8-0. Now they're 8-1. They still have a game lead on Maine, but that loss to Albany home was inexcusable. Made no sense at all. Do they respond away at Binghamton? Do they respond enough to win this game by 8 points against a Binghamton team that is playing really good basketball? Vermont at home, they win. Albany away, they win. Albany, who just beat Bryant. UMass Lowell at home, they win by 12. Very hard to beat UMass Lowell by 12. Binghamton's hot. I'm going to take the points. I know we probably think of Bryant bounce back, but maybe it's a Bryant slide. Binghamton plus 7.5. A lot of points. Dr. Tony, very sorry about this one. Columbia stinks. Columbia is going the wrong way. Here, they look so good. They were running great motion. Lost to Rutgers, Cornell, Yale, Princeton, Penn, Harvard, Dartmouth. That is 7 straight games. They are 0-6. They don't even have a win in the Ivy. This was a team that was 11-1. They beat Fairfield. They beat Lehigh. They beat Villanova. They look like a team that could challenge no longer. Brown, on the other hand, very tough. Penn away, they win. They put 88 points. Cornell away, they win. This is a close game. I'll take Brown against Columbia here. Columbia is struggling. I mentioned this one before. Marquette plus the 2.5. I'm on American. I think American is the best team in the Patriot League. I think American is better than Bucknell. I think they're better than Army, and Colgate is not normal. Not your typical Colgate team. Colgate has 5 losses in the Patriot League. When's the last time Colgate? In fact, I'll tell you, When's the last time Colgate had 5 losses under Matt Langel in the conference? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last time they had 5 losses was back in 2019. They were 13-5. They're not going to be 13-5 this year because they're 6-5. So the last time they even had a year like this, Colgate, they were 8-10. So American is saying this is our year to win the Patriot League. We're ready to roll. They're coming off a loss to Bucknell away. That was rough, 71-49. But the reason for that loss, Bucknell shot exceptionally well, and American did not. Was only 5 of 21 from three-point range, and a ton of fouls in that game. I don't see that happening. I think they're bouncing back here against Lehigh. Lehigh's playing better. They beat Colgate. I get it, but I think American gets the job done here. They lost to American away by 1, so it's a bounce back spot, but I think American gets it right here. Small wager on this, not huge. Kansas on the road against Kansas State. I believe in momentum. Kansas State with a vet. Kansas State's showing a lot of moxie here, so this is a momentum play. Kansas State's playing Arizona State. They were losing in that game 18-2. Kansas State's on the road at Arizona State, tough place to play, losing 18-2. They come back to win 71-70. They're playing very well right now. Here comes Kansas. They played Kansas away and only lost by 10 earlier this year. And there was no KJ Adams in that game. I get it. I don't know if he's playing today. I doubt it. Rivalry game. Kansas coming off the win over Iowa State. They played well. I'm not sure if they've righted the ship here. I'm taking the points with Kansas State. Small wager. I told you Bowling Green stinks. We're rolling with Coastal Carolina there. This is the crossover matchup. I don't trust JMU. We've been profitable fading JMU all year. There's a couple bumps in the road. It's not perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. I mean, even Loyola Marymount covers once in a while. They covered against Gonzaga the other night. They were getting 22.5. They lost by 20. But JMU fade has been the right play this year. Toledo in this matchup against James Madison. Again, this is a crossover game, so neither team knows each other. Toledo is well coached. Toledo is also home. Toledo has won 4 straight games. They don't turn the ball over. Toledo, I'll take them -1. Fade and Murray State. Valpo hasn't played well, but we've been fading Steve Prom. And I told you, when we have a rough feeling on a team, we have a feeling on a coach, usually works out. Murray State was hot early. They're now giving it back. They're on a terrible slide. I'm not pressed with East Tennessee State. I like Samford better. East Tennessee State, always tough on defense, but always struggles on offense. Samford here has 4 wins out of their last 5. The only loss was to Furman. They lost to East Tennessee State at home, so this is a payback spot for them. They are top 10 in the country in three-point shooting under Bucky McMillan. And in the Southern Conference, they're number 1 on defense, number 1 in effective field goal percentage, number 1 in turnovers forced, number 1 at defending the 3. Samford's a good team. They're better than East Tennessee State. I think they get this game. Anytime I can fade Chattanooga, I will, especially against Furman, who I think is better coached. I love Bob Ritchie. Chattanooga, they lost again at home. So again, this is the flip-flop spot. I love betting teams with great coaches like Bob Ritchie, who have a established, sustained success in the conference that are playing the second time and getting points. They should not be getting 5 points here at Chattanooga. I will take them here. You know my thoughts on North Florida. Love them earlier in the year. They shoot a ton of threes. They don't stop anyone on defense. If the three-pointers are going in, they can upset anyone. If the three-pointers are not going in, they could lose to Chicago State. Florida Gulf Coast is a solid team. It is one of the best teams in this conference. They're able to dribble, penetrate, and attack. I think they're going to get the win here. North Florida, it's all about the threes with them. Florida Gulf Coast, they have not played yet this year, so this is their first time playing them. Yes, they've won 3 straight games, but they beat Stetson in overtime at home by 1. Stetson, no offense, Joey, rebuilding this year. Jacksonville away by 3. Bellarmine, they gave up 88 points in that game. Florida Gulf Coast is decent defensively. They're number 1 inside the arc. They're going to have to bomb away. They're coming off a bad loss to Eastern Kentucky. I think Florida Gulf Coast rights the ship here. Duquesne is sliding. You know, I didn't like Drew Joyce as a coach. And if you remember, and you've been with us, this is really funny. This is why you have to be with the show the entire time. Duquesne beats us against St. Bonnie's at home. They win by 18. We took St. Bonnie's in that game. Since then, Dayton home blown out. Fordham away, lose by 2. Inexcusable. St. Joe's away, lose by 4. UMass home, lose by 9. Richmond away, lose by 5. They're going the other way. Why did I give up on my fade of Drew Joyce? I have no idea. But I do like Loyola Chicago and their wings. I'm back on them. Elon, physical, really tough, great on the boards. Elon coming off the loss to Campbell. They're sliding a little bit. Now it's Charleston. I don't trust Charleston. This is not a typical Charleston team. I'm mad at myself for not taking the 18 points with North Carolina A&T the other night. I should have done that. I like Chris Mack, This isn't Pat Kelsey. This is not your normal Charleston team. They lost away at William & Mary by 15, even when William & Mary lost a player to an injury. They beat Elon away by 14. So here's the payback spot. Elon getting 3.5 at Charleston. Charleston not sweeping Elon. I'm taking Elon there. I mentioned Mississippi State. We got that. And the rest are going to be for the subs, I think. A couple others. You know, my fate of Vermont continues. Albany at home getting 1.5. I'm fine there. Doug Gottlieb was spotted by my friend Patrick Daugherty at NBC Sports at the Super Bowl. Do with that as you may. Purdue Fort Wayne loves to get up and down the floor. Great pace. I think they blow them out here. You knew this was coming. Fade the Clapper. He burned us the other night with the 3 at the buzzer against Mount St. Mary's. We'll go back to fading him there. Bradley is not the same. I flip-flopped on Bradley. Bradley is not the same team. Evansville at home and a tough matchup within the conference with that magic 5.5 number. And that is it. Here are the games that I will be covering in Discord, just so you know. New Mexico State versus UTEP. Monmouth versus Towson. Vanderbilt, Texas is a huge one today. Richmond at Davidson. App State at Ohio. Clemson, Duke for the subscribers in the FTN Fantasy Discord. Arkansas State, Kent State, South Alabama, and Akron. Comments, what I can get to you here. Let's see. It's a Bryant spot, Jerry. It is, but why lose at home to Albany? What's the sleepy spot with Albany? Albany is usually a pretty good team in the America East. I feel like they're starting a slide here. That's a lot of points for Binghamton. I agree. Yeah, hit the like button, please. I appreciate it. Thank you, Dream. Appreciate that. The line, Jerry, the line tells you to take Lehigh. Let me see. Let me pull that one up again. Is that the one against American? Yeah, I mean, it's still American on the road. It's still, you know, it's still not an Lehigh has won 3 of their last 4 games, so it's still a road game here. But I'm rolling with American. I think American is the best team in the conference. BU, Holy Cross. I took BU, Hugh, in that matchup. Yeah, it's a lot of points on the road. I think there's better spots. I love Houston. It's impossible to prepare for Houston. 15 points on the road. They win by 13. You lose. I just think there's better spots. Yeah, they're hot. They're hot. Alabama may have some health issues too. I lean Alabama, but it's a rivalry game, and Arkansas is hot right now. I kind of want to stay away from that. The answer is no. Excuse me, Helms. The answer is no. I don't think they can. Hey, Jay, what's up? I'm taking Troy. I'm taking Scott Cross. I think he's a brilliant coach. I like their pressure. I like their defense. It's sort of a throwaway game for both teams because it's the crossover. In that situation with less time to prepare for both teams that are really in the hunt in the conference, I'm going to take Troy. Scott has been so good to us. I can't go away from it. Okay, I'm heading the Discord, the FTN Discord. I'm putting these plays in there. As always, you guys are the best. Thank you very much. Ready to rock and roll. Let's get some picks today. Remember, join us here at FTN Fantasy Early 15. We have some incredible stuff and articles for subscribers only coming out. Frank Brank's models for the conference tournaments, they're automatic. There's 2 big conference tournaments winners per year. The first 2 years I've been here at FTN, Frank Brank's models, you got to go to it. FTN Fantasy, I appreciate all of you. We find you the edge. Here are 3 players to watch in the NCAA tournament today.